Hey viewers, today we're going to be installing the handlebars and brake levers on our 86 Lotus here. We just did a video on the restoration or refurbishing of these handlebars, and we also did one on the brake levers. And if you want to see those, I'll put a link below if you haven't seen those yet. But we'll go ahead and get these started. Okay, so if you've ever removed drop handlebars from a stem and then tried to put them back in again, I don't know, but for me, in the beginning when I first tried to do this, I always sat there for about 5-10 minutes trying to figure out what's the best way to start this so they end up in the right position. Well, I found a way to do that. That makes it pretty easy. If you start with the handlebars upside down and the bar ends facing the bike, you can either go in from the left side or the right side, and it'll always end up in the right position. So let's show you how that works. Okay, before we install the handlebars, I just want to point out that, of course, you want to loosen the bolt, and also you may have to pry the stem open a little bit wider just to make it easier to get it in and so you don't scratch up and mar the handlebars. You can try using a tire lever, plastic one, and prying it open a little bit. Doesn't have to be a whole lot. You can use a screwdriver, but you have to be very careful because the screwdriver can mar and scrape up the stem. So if you put it straight up so where it's not hitting the edges and kind of just maybe twist it a little bit or go back and forth, you can open it up a little bit. Sometimes you can pry it in here with the screwdriver and open it up a little bit. So if you do mar it a little bit, it won't show on the inside there, but just be very careful when you do that. And you don't need a whole lot, just enough to get this through so you don't mar it up. So we'll go ahead and install the handlebars now, and again, upside down with the bar ends facing the bike, and we'll go in from the left side here and just follow the angle of the tube, and as we come around here, keep the handlebars twisted up a little bit so you don't hit the bike as you're doing this. And now, the critical point, we don't want to mar up the part that we just got restored. So we're going to do this very carefully, and I'm going to move the camera so we'll see this straight on. Okay, so we're going to push this in slowly, straight, without twisting. A lot of times you tend to want to twist it. And there we go. And then we want to center the handlebars as best as possible. I usually kind of measure or eyeball the lines here to make sure it's even on both sides. And move the camera in just a little bit so you can see that. If you want to get really specific with it, you can measure them if you want. Okay, once you get it centered left to right, go ahead and tighten it up slightly so you can still turn it, but yet it'll kind of hold the position. So you can see when I move it and let go, it goes back. So we'll keep tightening it to where it doesn't do that. Okay, now we can move it and it'll stay in the position that we have it, because now we're going to adjust the fore and aft position. Okay, so now when we position the handlebars in this position, some people like to keep them flat with the bottom of the handlebar level with the ground. Some like to rake it up a little bit. And the reason for this is that if you do rake it up a little bit and you do line up your brake levers so the bottom of the handle on the lever is same distance or level with the bottom of the bar, it affects the reach from the handlebar to the brake lever. So this way, if you angle this up, the reach will remain the same and you can have the levers up a little higher, so when you're resting your hands on the body of the brake lever, they're a little higher up and more comfortable. If they're down level, and of course you line up the bottom of the lever with the bottom of the bar to maintain the distance for braking, of course the body of the brake lever will be a little lower. When you get to positioning things here between the lever and the handlebars, you don't want to adjust the rake of your handlebars to position the levers. You want to put the levers where they should be and the handlebars where they should be, and not use one to adjust the other. Another thing to remember is that when you angle these, you're now changing the reach of the handlebar and changing your positioning on the bike somewhat, the angle of your elbow and the front part of your body. So you want to take that into consideration when you're angling these bars. Okay, I just wanted to show you another bike that we completed here. In fact, I'll put a link down to this bike here if you'd like to take a look at it. This is our Univega Superstrada. But I just wanted to point out the angle here and how we have it. We don't have the bottom of the bar level with the ground. We put it up just slightly, and you can see even though we lined up the bottom of the lever with the bars, the body lever sits kind of high, so it's a little bit more comfortable when you're up here riding and holding the bars. But we also, in positioning it this way, we maintain the reach from the lever to the handlebars, so the reach, it wasn't extended out more. Okay, so we're going to set this angle up a little bit here. We'll keep that there, and we'll tighten that down. Now for the brake levers. Okay, we'll set that a little higher than we're going to have it so we can come down on the, we're going to put like a ruler type straight edge here. Okay, we got our straight edge there. So we'll come down on this. Just get a feeling where it's going to be, because as we tighten the bolt, it'll bring the lever up a little bit, and you'll see when I tighten it down, so we may have to do a little adjusting. So what I did was I moved this up to where it'll probably be. Hopefully it will be, and if not, we'll just make an adjustment. Okay, so we'll tighten this down here to get the up and down adjustment. As you can see, this has a little nut on there. Some have hex Allen. This just has a regular socket here. And we'll get the other position here in a minute, but I want to make sure we have this level. Okay, we'll check this out here. And we're just slightly high. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen that up and put it down a little bit more. Brought it down a little bit lower. Put that on there, and we're right there. Now what we're going to do is see how it's positioned in the other dimension here. And we'll look down on that. Okay, so we're going to line this up so it's straight with the drop bar here coming out straight, and it looks like it's right on there actually. I'm going to leave that just like that and get that tightened up. Okay, and after I get both of them on, I just like to make sure they're at the same height and level. So I drop a level on it. Looks like we're right there, and that's it. Before we wrap the handlebars, I'm going to take it out for a test drive and then make sure that the levers are in the right position before I tape the handlebars. That way we won't have to wrap it, unwrap it, and wrap it again. So, well, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, and we'll see you for the next one.